everyone. Welcome back. 10 Minutes with Barb and Ron. Barb Gentili Green here with Centerburg Local Schools. Hey, Ron.
Barb, hey, end of the year items, or beginning of the year items, I guess I should say. You know, we're going to talk about the theme of back to school. Boy, it took me like 3 different ways to get there, but back to school, Barb, that's what we're going to talk about today. How do we make it? You know, one of those things whenever it was time for back to school, I was one of those people that kind of would get myself so upset I'd throw up the first day. It was just, I think it was all the excitement and just wanting to make it perfect for everybody and everything. I don't do that anymore, thank goodness. But anyway.
I was going to ask, so as an adult, you threw up every day on the first day of school?
Yeah. I did as a kid too most time, but I did as an adult also. Yeah, even first day of college. Yeah, I don't know why. I just got really, nervous. So anyway, it is what it is. But so we don't want to do that for our kids. We want to make sure our students don't have that. So we always want to think about things that we can do to get everything ready, not just the room ready, because we know elementary teachers, they love getting the room ready, don't they?
Yes.
And we love them for that. And the kids look forward to that. They can't wait to see that classroom. I don't know what happens in middle and high school. I guess the room's maybe not as important. I'm not sure. I was an elementary teacher, so never understood the other. But so how do we make it a positive experience for our students? That's the big question. How do we, we get the room really good, but we both have that belief of we have to capture their hearts before we're going to capture their minds. So what are some ways that we can do that? The teachers are coming in and they're ready. They got their rooms ready. And now what do they do to make sure that they capture these kids' hearts?
Right. Well, we're taping this on the first day of school. And so I have to say that one of the very first things is, what do the faces look like when the students enter the building? Like, who's there greeting them? Are they smiling, or are they talking to another adult? Are they welcoming them and telling them to have a good day? So I think it starts the minute they hit the door, in just in terms of our demeanor and how we interact with the students.
You know what? I don't usually like to use a specific example with a name, but I'm going to, darn it. It just, I get chills every time I think about it. But Chad Thrush, who was the principal of the Kenton High School, Kenton, Kenton High School, that's where my son goes. He's now the superintendent here. So, but as principal, he just took superintendency, but as principal, one of the things that he implemented was that the staff would be outside welcoming all the students the first day. And you talk about amazing. The kids were coming in, the teachers are out there high-fiving, saying hi, taking some minutes to talk to. The kids were going in so excited. And Barb, that was my high school too. And all I could think of was, wow, if my principal had the staff do that, it would have been a whole different experience the first day. I mean,
right.
Why not do that if it's a beautiful morning?
Yes. Yeah. Today happens to be a beautiful morning. That's a great idea. I love that. It's, get some excitement because, especially for sometimes middle school and high school students have had a really fun summer and they don't necessarily want to come back into the routine of the school day. Not necessarily that they don't like school, but that routine, getting up in the morning and having to go sit in the class. And when the buzzer rings, you go to another class. So that's a great way to get that excitement going.
Oh, it got the excitement going. It just rolled the rest of the year. I mean, that it was like they raised the bar right there and the bar stayed up there the rest of the year. It was just a tremendous thing. And it wasn't anything big. It didn't cost them any money or anything, maybe just a little bit of time. But what's one morning like that for all the kids just to get everything, right up there? And then that's that first impression too. If that's the first time the student's ever been to that high school, maybe as a freshman, look what they're seeing. They're like, whoa, this is going to be a great year.
Yes.
And the others, they're just like, wow, I like this change,
That is
out
great.
Here, receptive,
Excellent.
So, Something that I always like to do, Barb, and I know this isn't a big favorite of many people. I always like to go out to the homes of the kids individually and meet the parents. And I know there's not many parents or teachers that do that, but that was one thing that I always found was a key to making a bond with the kids before school started. And it gave the parents a chance to meet me and know that, you know what, I'm going to love the parents. It doesn't matter what kind of background or anything, you know. If you need something, you get a hold of me, here's my number, you know, or here's where I live. Come talk to me, you know. They like the open door.
So how would you do that when you are maybe a high school teacher that teaches, you know, multiple classes? And so did you divide up the teachers that would maybe go and visit families, or was this just something you did with some of your students?
It was something that I did with my students. And then when I opened the opportunity school for all the kids in our county, that was something that the teachers and I would do with any kids that were coming in too. We had to get to the grandparents or the parents or the family, whomever they were, even if it was the court, we would get with them and kind of have a pack, you know, that we're going to all help each other. And for example, we had one student that just couldn't get to school on time. So, you know, we sat down with that child's mother and all of us, and guess what? All she needed was an alarm clock. We bought her one.
Right.
Never was late again. Just little things, you know, just little things. So I think we have to, you know, keep those little things in mind and know that, just know that could happen. Now, some teachers send cards. They'll send real neat postcards out. Ella had a teacher this past year that about every month she would get Ella's really doing great. These are some specific things that she did I really liked. And, you know, I think that was a great way to, you know, to win over kids and to know that they're watching, you know. That teacher's watching me and she's letting my parents know.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yeah. And another thing that I think is so important, it kind of goes along with what you're saying, is how well do we know our learners? You know, what do we do to get to know their interests and their desires, things that they're involved in outside of school, so that we can have those just casual conversations about something that students like, and that we care about them in a way other than just how they did on their math homework. So I think that's another way we could connect.
Oh, and that's a great connection to Universal Design for Learning, because, you know, we have some of those, you know, cool how to get to know kids kind of things that we always like to do in our trainings, you know. So, yeah, I think that ties in perfectly. And then the kids could do it in several different ways or bring different things. I know when I was young in the elementary, sometimes the first week was show and tell, where you could bring in your dog, you know, or some toy that you really liked, you know. But I keep bringing up elementary things, but high school or middle school, different kinds of things that teachers can do. But the big thing is let's win their hearts, then we'll get their minds. So with that said, Ron's out.
And you've always kept that in the forefront for me, just remembering to build relationships with kids. And so thank you for bringing that out to help us all remember to start the school year off right by winning their hearts. And with that, Barb is out, and we'll see you next time on 10 Minutes with Barb and Ron.
YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment, and share.